Hello, my name is John Sotomayor, and this is Lab 7, Part C. So here we have our clock switch and our data switch, along with QA as LED2, QB as LED1, and QC as LED0. So here we have our latch as QA and our two flip-flops for QB and QC. And for our latch, it is activated when clock switch is at low. QB is activated when there is a positive trigger, and QC is activated when there's a negative trigger. So because the clock is switch low is low, then when we do the data input, it would immediately be raising the QA right on and off because the clock switch is at low. We will leave it on. So because this clock switch is low, if we set this to high, that is a positive trigger, and this would trigger QB. Now, if we leave the data at high and we lower the clock switch, that is a negative trigger, and this would trigger QC. So if we can set this high at our clock switch, and we lower the data switch, we just now indicate that everything is at low. And because it didn't activate, because the clock switch is at high, QA doesn't activate because clock switch is not low, and QC will not activate because it hasn't happened a native trigger yet. When the switch goes low, QA and QC will turn off because when the clock switch is at low, it activates the QA, and because this was a negative trigger, QC also turned off. And we remain the data switch as low, and if we raise the clock switch, this would be a positive trigger, and that will activate the QB, and that will turn off. And this will be our Lab 7, Part C.